Hello guys, welcome to Sahil Pro World. In this module, two types of attacks. We will learn about buffer overflow attacks, IP spoofing and session hijacking. Another way of attacking a system is called a buffer overflow or buffer overrun attack. Some experts would argue that the buffer overflow occurs as often as the DOS attack, but this is less true. Now than it was a few years ago, a buffer overflow attack is designed to put more data in a buffer than the buffer was designed to hold. This means that although this threat might be less than it once was, it is still a very real threat. Any program that communicates with the internet or a private network must receive some data. This data is stored at least temporarily in a space in memory called a buffer. If the programmer who wrote the application was careful, the buffer will truncate or reject any information that exceeds the buffer limit. Given the number of applications that might be running on a target system and the number of buffers in each application, the chance of having at least one buffer that was not written properly is significant enough to cause any caution system administrator some concern. A person moderately skilled in programming can write a program that purposefully writes more data into the buffer that it can hold. For example, if the buffer can hold 1024 bytes of data and you will try to fill it with 2048 bytes, the extra 1024 bytes is then simply loaded into memory. Or if the extra data is actually a malicious program, then it has just been loaded into memory and is running on the target system. Or perhaps the perpetrator simply wants to flood the target machine memory, thus overwriting other items that are currently in memory and causing them to crash. Either way, the buffer overflow is a very serious attack. Fortunately, buffer overflow attacks are a bit harder to execute than the DOS or simple MS Outlook script virus. To create a buffer overflow attack, a hacker must have a good working knowledge of some programming language like C or C++ often chosen, and understand the target OS application well enough to know whether it has a buffer overflow weakness and how it might exploit the weakness. Now the next topic is IP spoofing. IP spoofing is essentially a technique used by hackers to gain unauthorized access to computers. Although this is the most common reason for IP spoofing, it is occasionally done simply to mask the origin of a DOS attack. In fact, DOS attack often masks the actual IP address from which the attack is originating. With IP spoofing, the intruder sends messages to a computer system with an IP address indicating that the message is coming from a different IP address than it actually coming from. If the intent is to gain unauthorized access, then the spoofed IP address will be that of a system that target considered as a trusted host. To successfully perpetrate an IP spoofing attack, the hacker must first find the IP address of a machine that the target system considered a trusted source. Hackers might employ a variety of techniques to find an IP address of a trusted host. After they have that trusted IP address, they can then modify the packet headers of their transmission so it appears that the packets are coming from that host. IP spoofing, unlike many other types of attack, was actually known to security experts on a theoretical level before it was ever used in real attack. The concept of IP spoofing was initially discussed in academic circles as early as the 1980s. Although concept behind this technique was known for some time, it was primarily theoretical under Robert Morris discovered a security weakness in the TCP protocol known as sequence prediction. IP spoofing attacks are becoming less frequent primarily because the venues they use are becoming more secure and in some cases are simply no longer used. A couple of different ways of IP address spoofing include: do not reveal any information regarding your internal IP address. This helps prevent those addresses from being spoofed. Monitor incoming IP packets for sign of IP spoofing using network monitoring software. One popular product is Netlog. This and similar products seek incoming packets to the external interface that have both the source and destination IP addresses in your local domain, which essentially means an incoming packet that claims to be from inside the network when it is clearly coming from outside your network. Finding one means an attack is underway. Examples of router configurations that are potentially vulnerable include routers to external network that support multiple internal interfaces, proxy firewalls where the proxy application uses the source's IP address for authentication, routers with two interfaces that support subnetting of the internal network, routers that do not filter packets whose source address is in the local domain. Now the next topic is, and wide topic, is session hijacking. Another form of attack is session hijacking or hijacking. TCP session hijacking is a process where a hacker takes over a TCP session between two machines, because authentication frequently is done only at the start of a TCP session. This allows the hacker to break into the communication stream and take control of the session. For example, a person might log onto a machine remotely. After establishing a connection with the host, the hacker might use session hacking to take over that section and thereby gain access to the target machine. One popular method for session hacking is used source routed IP packets. This allow a hacker at point A on the network to participate in a conversation between B and C by encouraging the IP packets to pass through the hacker machine. The most common sort of session hacking is the man in the middle attack. In this scenario, a hacker uses some sort of packet sniffing program to simply listen the transmission between two computers, taking whatever information he or she wants but not actually disrupting the conversation. A common component of such an attack is to execute a DOS attack against one endpoint to stop it from responding. Because that endpoint is no longer responding, the hacker can now interject his own machine to stand in for that endpoint. The point of hijacking a connection is to exploit trust and to gain access to a system to which one would not otherwise have access. So now I hope you understand what is session hijacking. Thank you for watching this video. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, subscribe our YouTube channel. Thank you.